All right, it's Jeep Update 64, and there's the birds as soon as I start filming. Jeep Update 64, and in 64, it's a pretty exciting day for me because we're going to get this thing on the road and hopefully take it for a spin around the block and get it back on the road. So let's get into it. All right, so here's where we're at with the Jeep. So I've got both fenders on. Everything is tight. Double, triple checked all the bolts. That fender's on. The only thing I haven't done here really in the engine compartment is put the hood on, and I've kind of left that off on purpose because we've still got some work to do, and I'll show you that in just a second. Alright, so I got most of the dash wiring zip tied up. There's still some wires that I need to deal with, obviously. I haven't hooked up my heater cables yet or any of my switches to my dash. I got the heater cables right here. But I just got this up and on because we're going to try to get this thing drivable today. And obviously I need a steering wheel too, so I've got parts for that sitting in this seat ready to go, and that won't take but a second to throw on. So the couple things we have left to do is we have to bleed the brake lines, and I finally got my brake lines connected. We've got fluid in there, and I've got the bleeders open, and I'm kind of letting it gravity bleed for now. And we've got to get this hydraulic clutch figured out and get this thing bled and get that working. So if we can get those two things working and I throw the steering wheel on, we should be driving this thing around today. All right, so Matt just got here, and we're about to get busy. And he's got his, I don't know if you can read that. Congratulations on the divorce, we never liked her anyway. So
those are good friends.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
That's awesome, man. That's great. All right, so here we are. We have just finished bleeding the clutch. Everything's looking good with that, and then the brakes are also bled, and we're kind of tightening things up, and then I'm going to run her through the gears here in just a minute and make sure we have all the gears, and then it's about time for a test drive, right, Matt?
I think so, it might be.
I think it's time for a test drive, man. So,
time coming.
yeah, I took the Jeep down, and I was probably middle to the end of October, and I estimated my time frame to be, I'm right on the money. I mean, I was April, May, early or late spring, early summer possibly. So here we are, and I think we're just about ready to go. All right, so the first time in several months, my Jeep is off the skates, and we are ready to roll. So we just kind of did a roll check. I don't know if that's officially how you're supposed to check brakes, but we did a roll check in the garage, and the brakes are working. We think the clutch is working, and obviously the motor's cranks up real easy, no problems there. So we're going to take this thing out, see if we can go for a spin. That was fun. That was really fun. All right, so the Jeep lives. It was a great drive around the block. Got a couple of minor leaks and issues to troubleshoot, but ran really good. It was really fun to drive. And one of the things that I've got to do now that the Jeep is mobile is clean this garage up. What a mess. All right, so a successful first drive, and it was, as I said in the video, really fun to drive. and probably could have got this thing on the road a lot sooner than we did, but had some family issues. And I appreciate if anybody watched the video, my wife's mom passed away about 2 weeks ago, and I did a tribute video to her, and I appreciate all the comments and all the support and all of the thoughts and prayers. So it's been a tough time. She's really close with her mom, and her mom was just a really great, sweet lady. So she will definitely be missed. So about a week after that happened, her son, my stepson, came down with 102-degree fever. So of course that put some panic in us, not knowing with all the virus stuff going around. So we called the urgent care. We took him in, and they actually tested him, and he came back negative. But we had to wait 2 painful days to get the results to that test. So that was, it just, it was already a bad time, and that just kind of made it worse. So this video got a little bit delayed, and getting the Jeep back on the road got a little bit delayed. And, that's okay, because family comes before a Jeep. So again, just want to say thank you. Appreciate all the thoughts and prayers and support. All right, so a couple more things to do to the Jeep, and this project's never going to be done, so I don't want people to think that there's not going to continue to be Jeep videos. There probably won't be as many Jeep videos, and if you were paying attention watching the video, hopefully you saw a car. It's obviously not a Jeep. Hopefully you saw the car under the cover, and that's my next project, and I'm going to introduce that project to you in another video. And I'll come back to the car. Let's talk about the Jeep. So the Jeep, what I've got left to do is I've got to finish securing the dash, and about the only thing I have left to do is to hook up a couple of heater cables and a couple of switches. And I'm having trouble with one switch. There's always one that the little bezel doesn't thread on properly. So either I stripped it out or it was stripped out when I got it. So I've had to order another, it's the windshield wiper switch. Pretty easy to get to even with the dash on, so that's not going to stop me from getting the dash secured. So after the dash is done, that gives me the green light to go ahead and finalize my steering wheel and put in the turn signal, the tilt column lever, and the hazard button. I could go ahead and do that now, but I just feel better knowing that the dash is completely done and on, and then I'll go ahead and mount my steering wheel permanently. So after I do that, I've got to fix the hood, and there's nothing wrong with the hood, but when I tested the clearance for the hood, I was really testing to see if it fit around that big brake booster, to see if it cleared that, which it did. Amazingly enough, it cleared that big brake booster. But what it doesn't clear, and what wasn't installed in the Jeep when I mocked up the hood, is the radiator. So the radiator, I guess the fill neck and the cap of the radiator is hitting part of the hood, and it's that underside of the CJ hood in the front that's kind of really a hood support. So I can cut that out and not lose any integrity in my hood, because it's a really small section, and I have yet to do that. So I haven't done that yet either. And then after that, and the last thing, well, second to last thing I have to do is put my roll bar back in. And if you remember, my roll bar, just putting the roll bar in a CJ is easy. I could probably do that myself. And I've taken the roll bar in and out so many times, but I've got that rock hard 4x4 sport cage that bolts up to the dash, and that sport cage where it mounts on the dash is also what keeps your windshield from folding down. So the traditional large knobs aren't there on my Jeep, and in place of that are some pretty heavy duty hardware that comes with the rock hard 4x4 sport cage. So I've got to get that put in, and with that sport cage on the roll bar, that roll bar's heavy, and it takes a couple of guys to put that thing in. We made the mistake of trying to take it out with just me and a buddy of mine, and it was funny. I wish I would have filmed it, but I didn't. So I'll make sure we have enough people to help with that project and get that thing back in there, because again, with that sport cage on there, it's pretty heavy. So then the last thing I have to do is take it up to the exhaust shop and have the exhaust run, and my neighbors will be really happy about that, because this thing is so loud with just headers on it. And there's not much you can do really, unless you just do like a bolt-in exhaust assembly, which I'm not gonna do. So I called the exhaust shop today, pretty reputable place in town, and just call back when you get closer to it, and we'll make an appointment and drop it off. And then I already got the mufflers. I got 2 Flowmaster 40s, and I'm going to run just true duals, probably straight out the back or kind of right out in front of each back tire. So should have a really nice sound in it. The motor's got, you know, a mild cam in it, and I think it's going to sound really good. I'll be happy when it has mufflers on it because it is really loud now with just the headers on it. So that's kind of everything that I have left to do to the Jeep that I can tell right now. And again, this project is never going to be done. So at least one more solid Jeep update. I'll show you guys the hood in a little bit more detail. And then I am going to film us putting that roll cage and roll bar back in because if anything happens, at least it'll be captured on film. So once I do those things, get the exhaust done, the Jeep will be pretty much complete. There's really nothing else that I want to do to it. I do need to still change my pinion seals in my front axle and my rear axle, and those are really the only two leaks that I have right now, is where the drive shaft attaches, that seal in there, and then the round seal that covers up the differential. So I guess when the guy, I paid to have my gears done, and the guy just used RTV, he didn't use an actual gasket, and that has proven to not hold. And I don't know if he put the new seals in correctly, the pinion seals, because they're leaking as well. Very small, minor leak. You're talking a drip here and there every other day or so, but nothing else leaks, so I want to fix those as well. So that's going to be coming up in a future video as well. All right, and to kind of shift gears a little bit, and if you caught it in the video, there she is. So this is my next project, and I'm intentionally not telling you what it is because I want to see if you can guess what it is. So I'm not giving you much to work with, other than obviously it's not a Jeep and it's a car, and it's an older car. All right, so if you think you know what this car is, leave it down in the comment section, and I'll let you know if you're right, if you guess at it. So I'll do a complete overview and introduction to this project and this car in a later video. So one more thing as it relates to the car is Jay. You're not allowed to guess, buddy. So Jay is the guy I bought the car from, and I know he's subscribed to my YouTube channel because he leaves comments on there. So you can't guess, man, because you know what it is. All right, so I'm really looking forward to finishing up the Jeep, and I'm really looking forward to getting started on that car. So lots more cool content to come. And if you like this video, like the content of the channel, hit that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching.